This is Formation Time, day 28. We've been talking about the ways of formation that we see in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and the book of Acts. Now, today we're talking about Luke, the way of justice. Matthew, the way of righteousness, has something to do with justice because righteousness and justice in the Bible are intertwined. But Luke is doing something unique and something really important. Luke is telling a broad audience of people from different backgrounds about the way of Jesus and the way of justice, the way of taking the high things of this world and bringing them low, and the low things of this world and bringing them high, of making the way smooth for the Lord. Luke's way of justice, the way he tells the story of Jesus, includes more people, more kinds of people than any other gospel. Luke is the gospel that gives us more perspective from women than any other gospel and any other ancient document that I've come across. You get Mary, the mother of Jesus, what she was feeling and what she was thinking. You've got Jesus' interactions with women that are powerfully highlighted by Luke. You've got Luke identifying himself as someone who's trying to bring the good news to a new audience, the people who want to love God and follow the way of Jesus. Luke is universal. It's about the up and the down. It's about the poor and the rich. It's about the hand of the Almighty strengthening those who are downtrodden. Yes, it's about Israel, but it's about opening up the story of Israel to the rest of the world. There are so many people who are included in Luke's narrative who aren't included in other gospels. We get the parables of the lost things, the prodigal son. There's so much richness in Luke's gospel. Yes, it has a lot in common with Matthew and a lot in common with Mark, but Luke's voice shines through. If we want a world in which things are right, in which things are just, in which everyone is invited to the table, the Gospel of Luke is part of the way of that formation, the formation of that world, the formation of who we are as people. So let's take a minute and think about the ways in which God might be challenging us with the way of justice. Are there any people that we look down on or don't treat fairly or we don't respect or listen to? Is there anyone that God might be inviting to your table? The way that Jesus has an open table and invites sinners and tax collectors and people who aren't Jewish to eat with him in the book of Luke. Is there something God is calling to you in the way of justice, openness, this universal call, the call of Jesus? Let's take a few minutes and think about that. Think about what God might be calling to us as we contemplate the Gospel of Luke. So we've taken a few moments to think about the way of justice and the Gospel of Luke. If you get some extra time today, flip through Luke and look at a random story and see if it reminds you of some of these themes. It's pretty incredible. The other thing that you need to know about Luke, and that we'll highlight in a couple of days, is that it's the first half of a story. The second half of the same story is the book of Acts, because Luke is the author of both stories. So the way of justice is the way of the Spirit. That's what we see in the book of Acts, the power of the Holy Spirit to form and guide and send the church. But for now, thanks for spending some time with me in the way of justice. Tomorrow, we get to look at John, the final gospel and the way of love. I'll see you then.